Okay, I just woke up and I had an unusual series of dreams that I have to remember. I don't know if I'll remember all of them, but I'll remember the last one. So, I was talking to this person. I guess his name was Alex, and we used to go to daycare together, except we totally didn't. This is like a fake person. And like he and this group of people were like living on this floating city slash submarine. So it was really weird. There were it was like basically a disc. If you look down on it from a bird's eye view, it was shaped like a disc. And if you look at it from the side, it's like kind of football shaped. And it's nuclear powered submarine, but it's the size of a floating city. So like it can float on top of the water, and it basically requires zero power in this form. Um, the top of it is like it's almost like a tortoise shell. It's like from that legend. I think that's where I got more of my subconscious got this from. And like, so it's about 2.5 miles. I don't know if that's a radius or diameter. I'm guessing diameter. And like, it's a whole like on the back of this tortoise, or on the top side. We can call it. There's two parts. There's the under. Um, there's the hull of the ship, and they call it the belly. And then they have the top side of the on the back of the shell, and they just call it the shell. And like, on the top side, it's like a freaking jungle. Like it's like a continent, and there was trees and like a miniature mountain range, like a tiny little, like not a mountain range, just like a couple mountains on it, and then like basically there were dwellings, like a small city, or like a small, more like a neighborhood in the middle of this natural area. And so people could actually live on this floating city, but they could also go inside it and live in the middle of it. And so what would happen is the floating city would sink down into the ocean. Once, or the nuclear, okay, let's start from where. So the nuclear reactor would turn on, and the whole thing would whir up, and like it would start, like it would create a sound as it was turning on, but then it would kind of start humming, and then it would get quieter. So it wasn't super loud or anything at first. But what it did is, like, around the perimeter of the shell, there were jets that would like push the whole thing down despite it being hollow and having like a pretty powerful flotation like built into its structure. And so these jets push the submarine down, but they also create this artificial surface tension. So when the entire submarine goes underwater, and there's like this, it's like an underwater forest, and there's like walls of water that go up around as it's going under the ocean. Or if maybe it were hit like by a tsunami too, it could like float around the top of it. Like, I don't even, this doesn't even make any sense. It's just like very alien and sci-fi. But they're just walls, like it's okay. So imagine I'm like looking at my hand and you can't see it. So it's submerging down into the water, and in the ocean, walls of water like going around it, and then it goes up for a while, like several hundred feet, and then all of a sudden the water just goes over the top, kind of like those aquariums that you go into. If you've ever been to like an aquarium in like a big city, some of them have, I think there's one in Denver. There might be other ones where you go under it, and there's like water and like stuff over on top. So it's like that, but there's no glass. It's literally all just my hair is doing this again because I literally just woke up and rolled out of bed. I'm still in bed actually. And so like the water, like there's no glass or anything between the air and the water. It's just the surface tension and these jets like creating this artificial surface tension. So like, say you walk up to the edge of the thing and like poke it, technically it would break the surface tension, like water from the ocean would flow around all your hand, but it wouldn't break the entire surface tension because it's artificial. So it'd only break like a little bit of it, and like you'd get some water flowing in, but not a lot. And like, you probably really couldn't do that because it'd be damaging. Like, it would probably hurt you to do that actually, because the jets are just like like they put they I don't even understand where, like, what it is. I guess it's pushing water. It's not pushing oxygen, it's pushing water out. So like it would be almost sheer, like the shearing forces of putting your like it would not work. It would probably rip your hand off. But like, yeah, these like, anyway, so when it's like this weird like dome thing without a dome, that's like an underwater forest thing, and there's like you can see these freaking like sea creatures, basically earth sea creatures, just swimming around like whales. Like you look outside, you're like walking through this forest, and you reach the edge of the forest, and there's this huge wall of water that makes like an artificial water dome all around you. And you look out into the freaking ocean, there's like sea creatures swimming around out there. And then you look around the forest, and there's like creatures in the forest, like land creatures. It's the weirdest thing. It is so cool, but it is the weirdest thing. I don't really think it's possible just because the sheer, maybe in a smaller structure, but the sheer size of this thing, it's like a mile, like 2.5 miles across. And like, I just can't imagine even nuclear power maintaining this perpetually. Like, maybe it was more than one nuclear reactor. I don't even know, but I also don't really understand how a structure like this would be able to float. Or sorry, that it can easily float because it would just turn off the nuclear power and it'd float to the like it would float to the top of the ocean, and then turn off the nuclear power and it'd just be like a little unpowered boat, I guess, sort of. But like maintaining the habitat seems odd, and like all the creatures in there, I don't know how much they would like that. Like birds, like I feel like it'd be a kind of a dangerous thing for a lot of the animals, maybe, and just like the fact that it can be a submersible, like it goes in the ocean while having this massive hollow interior. That seems like it violates flotation, like whatever the laws of flotation. There's like a law about that, and I don't remember what it was. It's like how, like, I don't remember the name of it, or I don't even really know like the equation or any of this stuff. But my intuition says you need like anyway, you would need a tremendous amount of force to push this thing and keep this thing underwater while fighting that. And so that is what the jets do. It's like they have two purposes. The jets create a false dome of a false dome of surface tension that separates the internal atmosphere from the ocean pressure outside of it. Okay. But then how does that work at different levels of ocean pressure? Like as soon as you go down, there's more and more and more ocean pressure. So I would imagine, like if this were a story, like a sci-fi story, that if this thing went down too deep, it would just get crushed and the ocean would like destroy the shell region, basically this open hollow region with this forest and all this stuff. Like I think if they went really, really deep in the ocean, it would just like the pressure of the ocean would it would surpass the force of the artificial surface tension created by all these jets around the rim of this circle. And so like eventually it would just like not work. But again, like I don't fully even understand that. Like it doesn't, like it seems like obvious flaws, like the center point of the structure, like at the very center of this, 1.25 mile radius, and like the ceiling of that, like at the very top of that, that would obviously be the weak point. There'd be no jets up like very close to that part. And how like jets are linear, like they blow out water in like a line. And so I don't see how, like maybe if they were at an angle, maybe they are at an angle, and like that's how it works. That's how it can create like not just a wall, but it can create like a ceiling of water. It was the weirdest thing. It was really cool. Like I was talking to, and I like it was so strange because I was just on like I was like I think I was riding my bike along like the beach, which is weird because I've never done this in my life. Like I've never lived near a beach and rode my bike on the beach. But I was riding my bike along the beach. There's this lady. I don't know what her ethnicity was. She looked like she might have been American, Chinese maybe, but I don't know that for sure, and I wouldn't assume. But she was pushing a stroller and her baby, and I was like, what's up? And she's like, oh, hi. And she was really excited to see somebody new. And I was like, oh, you're very, like, I was just like, well, thank you. Like, I told her, I was like, we were talking for a little bit, and I was like, this is really, she was so excited to talk to me, and she just thought I was the weirdest thing. And I was like, well, this is a little odd that you're such an eager beaver. I didn't say this to her, but I did say, like, well, it was really good talking to you. Thank you so much. And she's like, no, the pleasure's all mine. Like, we don't see any outsiders in our community. And I was like, where do you live? That's really unusual. And she's like, we live on the back of the tortoise shell. And I was like, oh. And she's like, yeah, we rarely come out to the mainland because we're usually way out in the middle of the ocean. We like to spend a lot of time on the mainland when we can, but we're not allowed to bring anything back or something like this. And so she's just like pushing her baby in the stroller, and I was like, that's insane. You seriously live on a submarine? And she's like, yeah, we live on a submarine. It's more like a floating island. And I was like, excuse you? And she's like, yeah, we live on this floating island. And then she started telling me about it, and like she didn't explain all of that. What happened is the dream snapped and I transitioned to it, and like I was like, oh my god, this thing is real, and it's like it's huge, and like not just huge, like it reminded me of a legend. It reminded me of that myth immediately. So that was the last dream in a series of maybe 20 dreams I just had in a row. I don't know if those were two separate dreams. They were just like little like different back-to-back scenes in a movie that were definitely connected to one another. So maybe that was the same dream. I also had, that was connected to the person that I mentioned at the very beginning of the story. I don't even remember this person being real. We have a family friend who did not go to daycare with us with that name. I never knew anybody named Alex that we went to daycare with, so I don't know why that was a part of the story. But well, we had like a relationship, if you know what I'm saying, in the story. Well, it wasn't even really like it wasn't even really that sexual or anything like that. It was more like supposedly a relationship. I'm like, now that I woke up, I'm like, that was so many different pieces of so many different stories. Like this is not a real person or like anything like that. And what is his relationship to that? Oh, he's an engineer, so he like and lived in the area. I don't think he was on the ship or anything. It doesn't matter. That's not important part of the story at all. I'm trying to work backwards through these dreams, and sometimes that's one way of remembering them. What else? There was, man, if only I could see the more dream journaling I'm doing, the more I'll probably be able to remember this stuff. But I am actually about to start, I think I'm about to start another little mushroom therapy session in a little bit, so this will be interesting. I'll have to see what time it is and if that's workable, but it's kind of a nice day out. I'm kind of hungry. We'll see. Problem is, if I take the mushrooms before I eat, then I don't get hungry, or I stop getting hungry. So I usually would say I should eat before I do the mushroom. No, you know what I'll do? I'm gonna have a grapefruit. So I'll have like a full day's worth of vitamin C in my tummy, and then wait a little bit, and then I'm gonna take the mushrooms. Then after about 6 hours, I think my mushroom trips usually last 4 hours. But you know, like 6 hours or so, I'll eat like my normal large daily meal. I usually eat one meal a day. I'm not always gonna be doing this, but I'm just doing this right now for busyness sake. It's like you can fit a lot more in your day if you're not cooking 3 times a day, and so I am kind of doing this one meal a day thing, not because of intermittent fasting, which is not actually what it's called. People say like, I'm eating one meal a day because I'm intermittent fasting. That's not intermittent fasting. That's actually time restricted eating. Intermittent fasting is at least fasting 24 hours, and time restricted eating is eating every day, but restricting it to a narrow window of each day. I did used to do that, which is why I'm able to, like, I'm in the habit of doing it. It's not a problem, but I'm not doing it intentionally anymore. It's not really something I claim that there is merit to, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not even sure it's healthier than eating multiple times a day at this point. There's two extremes. I'm of two minds about this, because when I started working out in like high school, everyone was saying you need to eat 6 times. Like, okay, so everyone would refer to like the meat industry and bodybuilding websites to tell you what your nutrition should be. Like, you need to eat 2 times the number of pounds of your body weight in grams of protein, which is ridiculous. And actually, there's science now that says that's as damaging as having that amount of fat in one day. You shouldn't have that much protein. But the other extreme, and that would be like 6 small meals a day, basically, like just snacking all the time, like grazing like an animal, except pretending that you're like it's like grazing like a cow, but pretending that you're a big cat. Pretending that you're like a carnivore. So dumb. Don't ever do that. And then the other extreme is like what I'm doing is like not eating a meal like sometimes only eating a meal every other day or eating one meal a day. That's pretty extreme too. I think that's healthier actually, but it is more extreme. I think there's some benefits. I don't know why I'm talking about this now. This is so off topic. There are some benefits to that. I think it might be only in my studies. So don't quote me on this. You might have to go and look up your you might have to like fact check me, which is totally fine. Just as long as you're not using meat industry studies because that's stupid. But I think if you restrict, if you do either intermittent fasting or time restricted eating, you can kind of activate some of the natural fasting stuff. It's not keto, but it's like autophagy based on just like time restricted eating. So we're not trying to fuel our body on ketones necessarily. What we're trying to do is let our body be like let our stomach be empty at some parts of the day. And this has actually been shown to increase longevity, not because we're fueling our body on ketones, but because we have such a large metabolic load. And if our stomach is always full, our metabolism is always running. And it is one of the most costly systems in our entire body that is multi-system. It's not even a system, it's an emergent multi-system like process. It's the digestive system, it's the blood, it's the lungs and heart, it's everything in your body you can imagine. It's the biggest organs in our body, the liver working nonstop if you're always eating. So you're basically saying, okay, like without getting the benefit of like working out, you're telling your body to work all the time, and that's allegedly associated with the aging of like our cellular machinery and just our organs and macroscopic tissues at large. And so by reducing reducing the metabolic demand on your body, you might be able to have some longevity and like anti-aging effects. I don't again do that for this reason either. It's neither a keto thing, it's not a ketones thing, and it's not an anti-aging thing. It's mostly convenience, but if there are benefits, I guess that's interesting. What else did I do? Well, I can't remember the other dreams. I was listening to sometimes I'll put on like rain sounds, or like this one was a thing from Teal Swan. It's like a crackling fire. And that's really, really interesting. That was cool. Like just the sound of a campfire in the background. It actually makes me a little bit nervous. Like, is the house on fire? Or the condo, is the condo on fire? But no, it was good. It actually was very relaxing and calming and peaceful. So I need like, I like my sleep situation, but pillows hurt my neck, all of them. Like I'm think my new thing is that I'm getting rid of my pillows and laying flat on the bed, because anytime I lay on a pillow, my neck is curved. Like no matter what angle, like let's say I like lay on my side with the pillow right here. Some point in the night I turn and I'm on my back and then my neck is bent. And I always wake up with a stiff neck every time. It's always just having a pillow because society says you need to have pillows. I don't even really want pillows, and then they hurt my neck. So I'm gonna get rid of them. It's stupid. It's stupid. Why am I sleeping with a pillow? I just feel awkward because like I have a really nice bed, and then just no pillows on it. Looks like societally, I'm like, this is awkward. This looks funny. But who cares? And nobody's watching me sleep as far as I know. I mean, not anymore. Not with at least not with my computer in the shop. That's what I was gonna say. I have these weird stripy things on my and I don't know if that's from, it's only on one arm, and I'm wondering if this is like, actually there's a different kind on my other arm. I'm wondering if that is from like a sunburn or not. I'm really usually good about putting sunscreen on, so I don't know why that is. Let me see if we can see it here. It's actually not that big of a deal. I guess it's kind of going away, but that like stripy effect thing, I don't know what that is. It was a lot worse yesterday. Maybe I'm dehydrated. That could be all it is. Alrighty, am I gonna do mushrooms today? I am nervous. I am scared. Like, the second I start thinking about it, I'm like, I get butterflies in my stomach. Like I'm about to go on a roller coaster, because I am. Oh boy. Alrighty. I'll let you know how it goes.